This Hydro Flask costs $42.95 while this Mira bottle costs $20.99, and today we'll be taking a look to see if the price justifies buying this Hydro Flask over a Mira bottle. Overall, both products offer very similar features. They're both made up of 18-8 stainless steel, both are BPA free. In this case, they're both 40-ounce bottles and offer a wide mouth. Aesthetically, they're also very similar in size and design. The main difference between the two would be that the Hydro Flask offers a plastic lid, whereas the Mira bottle offers what I can only assume is a stainless steel lid. However, there is a difference in claims as far as how well they function. The Hydro Flask claims to keep cold liquid cold for 24 hours and hot liquids hot for 6 hours. The Mira bottle also claims to keep cold liquids cold for 24 hours, but the main difference would be that they claim to keep hot liquids hot for 12 hours. Alright, so for my experiment, what I've done is pretty much filled up both water bottles with ice, then I filled it up with water to as close to the same levels as I could by eyeballing it. So now, I'm going, the main part of this experiment is pretty much just going back and forth and checking the temperature from each water bottle to see who or which has the biggest change. I'm not sure how well you guys can read it, but I'm going to call the Hydro Flask at 32 degrees. And very similarly, the Mira bottle is going to be 32 degrees also. Okay, so we have our baseline reading of 32 degrees for both bottles. I'm going to go ahead and seal them up. Check the temperature periodically, back and forth every couple of hours. I'll list it in this video for you guys so you can see in the end who retains the temperature of the water better. Okay, so we are at the 6-hour mark. As you can see, the Hydro Flask is still sitting at 32 degrees. I would have to say that the Mira bottle is also sitting at 32 degrees, if not colder. It might be at 31. I'm just going to say it's at 32 for the sake of this meter, just because it's all manual, so it's really hard to tell with the needle. But dude, I might even want to say that it's at, yeah, it might be a little bit colder, but let's just say that they're both at 32 degrees. Okay, so we're sitting at a little bit over 12 hours. I just opened up both these bottles, and at first sight, I want to say that the Hydro Flask has more ice, but that's kind of hard to really measure without like taking all the ice out, just because the bottom ice could have melted while the top ice like stayed intact, and it kind of just like floated up, whereas this one's like the reverse. The top ice melted and, you know, all of that. So it's really hard to say just basing on the ice. So let's stick in the thermometer and just see what we get. 12 hours and the Hydro Flask still sitting at 32 degrees. Kind of impressive. On this end, kind of no surprise either, the Mira bottle is also sitting at 32 degrees. Yep, it's pretty much sustaining, not really changing. Man, again, like, it looks like the Mira bottle is like less than 32 degrees, but too close to call. Let's just say 12 hours, they're both still at 32. We are 18 hours into this test, so let's just pop these caps open. The Mira bottle does still have ice, very visible. Let's do Hydro Flask, extremely visible. Again, like at the 12-hour check-in, it might just all be like just an optical illusion kind of thing. So let's check the temperature just to make sure. 18 hours and the Hydro Flask is still holding at 32 degrees. At this point, it's just like it's kind of exciting, you know, like see how long this lasts kind of thing. So Hydro Flask, 32 degrees. Pop it into the Mira bottle. Once again, also no change, 32 degrees. This is a very close race, to say the least. Both are like pretty much neck and neck, tied in almost every way. So we have one last checkpoint, the 24-hour mark, and we'll see how they both do. It's finally the moment of truth. I've been oddly excited about this just because I'm really interested to see how both of these bottles live up to their claims of being holding cold water cold for 24 hours. And at the last check-in at 18 hours, they've both held 32 degrees since hour 0. So they've done very well. So let's open them up, give a quick look. Wow, still a lot of ice left in the Mira bottle. On the other end, exact same thing. It's like nothing has changed and it's been 24 hours. So, thermometer in. No, it's at 32 degrees. Crazy. On this side, just for the hell of it. Also holding at 32 degrees, 24 hours, and both bottles seemingly still have the same amount of ice. As I mean, the last couple hours, they've obviously both melted a little bit, but there are significant ice chunks in both. And 24 hours, they're both at 32 degrees, and that's just insane to me. Surprising, but not really surprising. I mean, it is what it is. You know, like that's what they claim, and it actually lives up to it. Alright, so I've dumped out all of the remaining water from both bottles, and as you can see, hopefully you can see, from what I'm seeing, I'm going to say that they have pretty much the exact same amount of ice. You know, they're shaped differently, but they both clumped up and they're at about half of the bottle. So, 24 hours, the exact same result. Just because the results of the cold water test is seemingly the same, I'm just going to have to do the hot water test too, just to see if that makes any difference in my buying choice or your buying choice. If you remember, the Hydro Flask claims 6 hours of keeping hot water hot, while the Mira bottle claims 12 hours. So let's do our first measurement. Now this is just the hottest that I can get, just tap water from the sink, and it looks like the Hydro Flask is sitting at 126? Yeah, I'm gonna say 126. Over here with the Mira bottle, again, very similar. 126. Let's just call them both 126. Leave them for 6 hours and 12 hours and see how they do. Okay, so here we are at the first hot water check-in. 6 hours in, I can feel that the bottle, like externally, it is still warm. Let's pop this open. There's still a little bit of steam coming out of that one. Alright. Let's just this going. 6 hours. Temperature immediately starts rising. So it looks like the Hydro Flask is pretty much going to stay at 110. Obviously, these results aren't as exciting as the cold water test, because the cold water pretty much like kept steady for 24 hours. We're 6 hours in, and the Hydro Flask already lost, was it 16, right? 16 degrees, just because we started at 126. Yep, let's call it 110 degrees after 6 hours for the Hydro Flask. Moment of truth really for the Mira bottle, because it claims that it can hold hot water hot for 12 hours, which that does not seem to be true either. It's going to be just like the Hydro Flask, holding the water at 110 degrees. Okay, so last thing, one final check-in at 12 hours. I'm going to close these up. Like I said, at 12 hours, I'm going to check back in and see how both of these are doing. Only the Mira bottle claims that it can hold hot water hot for 12 hours, which it's at this point, it's kind of like, what's the definition of holding hot water hot? Technically, The water is still hot, but it definitely it drops 16 degrees in 6 hours. So let's close it up and check back in a couple hours. Okay, so we've come to the final check-in point. 12 hours for the hot test. We started out at 126, dropped down to 110 for each. And now, let's see where they're sitting at. It looks like the Hydro Flask is pretty much gonna be steady at 98 degrees. So I would have to call that at 98 degrees too. 12 hours later, it's obvious that the Mira bottle did not do any better with hot water, but it did great. I mean, we're looking at the exact same result. Both ended at the same place, began at pretty much the exact same place. So hot water test, cold water test, they did the exact same thing. After 2 long days of testing, it is apparent that these two water bottles do the exact same thing and give the exact same results as in terms of function. Both claim to be able to keep cold water cold for 24 hours, which was extremely accurate, which they both were able to keep cold water at the same temperature for 24 hours. The only disappointing thing was in their hot water retention. Both claim to be able to keep hot water hot, but after 6 hours, we saw that the temperature dropped 16 degrees in both cases, and after 12 hours, which the Mira bottle claimed to be able to do, both began at 126 degrees and ended at 98 degrees. So, 28 degree difference in 12 hours. So it's up to you, but it's so obvious to me, like I said, that these bottles are pretty much the exact same thing with different caps. I'd be surprised if they're not the same bottle, just like a different logo stamped on it. And for me, it's a clear winner in terms of which you should buy. This costs $42.95, and after tax and everything for me costs $57.07. This retails regularly for $20, and it's just asinine what they're charging for the Hydro Flask. Because really, what are you getting besides that logo? It's all about brand awareness, and it comes down to the hype of the Hydro Flask itself. It has become the poster child of the insulated water world, and really you're just paying for brand awareness at this point, because a $20 bottle can do the exact same thing that the Hydro Flask can do for more than twice the price. So it's up to you. If you're gonna listen to me, buy the Mira bottle. Save yourself all the money. You can actually buy more than 2 of these. You can buy 2 of these 40 ounces and another 25 ounce or whatever. So there you go. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It took a long time to make, so if it helped you at all, don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. There will be links to both of these models in the description below, so don't forget to check those out if you're interested in buying either. Hope you have a great day.